Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another video on the Luderco Arms channel. So, what we've got right now is a quick little job. I've got this air dryer that is hooked it comes out of the line comes out of the compressor, goes up to the air dryer, and then the air dryer hooks into my air lines I have air drops all through the shop. Problem I've got is that I didn't realize when I bought this air dryer, I didn't think about just how humid it is here. And it is humid here at South Carolina. We get 80–90% humidity quite often. And the problem I'm having is that this works with this last dryer here is the little blue desiccant beads, and it only takes a day or two of this compressor running all day to completely wear out those beads. And then you've got to take that off, dump them out. You can heat them up and reuse them, or you have to replace them one way or the other. I think these are, yeah, see, I heated these up and then they've already turned pink again from the humidity just in the air. So what we've got to do, now I have this jug of beads that I put in it, but what I want to do basically is build a bypass to get around that so that I'm only using the air dryer when I need it. The air dryer is mainly used when I run the bead blast, or the blasting cabinet. The air dryer, I use it then, and then when I use a paint gun. Other than that, I don't really need the air dryer. And what's happening is when those beads get full of moisture, it basically, I start losing my air pressure, and which is not good when you're trying to use an impact wrench. So what I'm going to do is come in here and put a valve on each side and a T and another valve, so that I can either valve it to go through the dryer if I'm doing the bead blast cabinet, and then when I'm not doing the bead blast cabinet, I can just have it skip the dryer and send air straight to the piping. And air in the piping is not a big deal, because every one of my down legs, like here's a down leg here with a quick disconnect, and I've got a drain on every one of them. So the fact that there'll be that there may be moisture in the lines isn't really going to affect anything, because I can drain all of the moisture out of the system. As you can see, I've got a drain there that comes out of the bottom of the tank. Anyway, so I gotta go. Let me walk out here and get in my bucket of fittings and find some valves and some fittings. I think I've got enough stuff to do this. I did buy another flex hose to make it work. I'm using the flex hose, one, because this vibrates a lot, so if I hard pipe it, it's just gonna break the pipe, and two, it just makes it easier. So it's flex in between the compressor and all this stuff, but then it's all hard pipe in the ceiling and all of the drop legs at all the corners of the shop. So all right, let me get some fittings and I'll be right back. Okay, this is what this contraption is going to kind of look like. I took the air dryer down off of the wall because it was going to be too hard to do this up there. So we're going to have the air coming from the compressor here, and it's going to come up to this T right here, and it's going to go into the air dryer or up here. There's a valve and a valve, there'll be a hose between here and here. And on the other end of the filter, there'll be a valve and a valve. And depending, so if you want to use the air dryer, you can cut this valve and this valve off, and it'll go through the air dryer, these on. Or you can cut these off and turn these on, and it'll go through the bypass without going through the air dryer. And yes, I know this should be piped in with a union in between instead of a hose, but I don't have enough stuff to do that, and a hose will work just fine. So I'm going to take all these fittings over to the vise. We'll use thread tape and dope, put them all together. I'm not going to bore you with that. Once I get it all together and get it mounted back on the wall, then I'll come back and show you the finished product. So we'll be back with that. Okay, so we're making progress on fitting this all up, and it occurs to me that while I'm not going to bore you with doing every one of these fittings, I will show you what I use to do these air fittings. So, got this 1/2-inch nipples, got to go in this valve right here. Let me turn this that way. Alright, so thread tape first. This is this Blue Monster PTFE thread tape. They're not a sponsor, I just like the tape, and it comes in nice big rolls. Anyways, you gotta wrap this tape on here the same direction as your pipe's turning. So once you get the first wrap on there, then you can kind of, so that's 2 wraps, 3 wraps. I usually go 3 to 4 wraps, and then I take and just squeeze it down into the threads. Now, the way you know you've put your tape on the right direction is, you know this is going to turn in like this, righty-tighty. And you want the tail, the end on the outside of your thread tape, to be going this direction, so that when you screw this in, it's not pushing the tape off of the fitting. So if I get a little piece of tape here, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So if you were going to do this end, which we're not doing yet, so if you go this direction like this, and then so you got your tail of your tape right here. So when we turn this in righty-tighty, see, it's going to lay that end down. But now if we turned it, now let me show you what'll happen. So if you put this on the opposite direction, the wrong way, this is what will happen. You'll get your tape on there, and you'll know it right away as soon as you start trying to tighten the fitting, because what'll happen is it will start pushing that tape back. So you don't want that. Anyways, so we got our 3 wraps tape on. Then I use this. It's True Blue pipe thread sealant. Get you it comes with a brush in the cap, and you just want to brush that on. Again, going in the same direction that you laid the tape, because you don't want to unwrap all this. Alright, we got our blue on there, like so. Screw it into our fitting. And then use your appropriate tool to tighten it on down. In this case, a pipe wrench, or well, it's pipe wrench pliers. They are. All right. So there we go. Now we have a good pipe joint, and you want to come in behind there. They're on my dang rag. Want to come in behind there and just wipe off the excess blue, just so you're not getting it all over your hands and it looks neater. And there you go. So let me get this finished up. We'll get it all plumbed together and get it hung back on. Then we'll hang it back on the wall and check out the finished product. So I'll be back with that. All right, I've got the bypass valve or the air dryer with the bypass valve all built up. Got my hoses attached. So now I'm going to bolt that back on the wall and hook the two hoses up, and we'll come back and see the finished product and how it works. All right, we have our setup in place now. Move some stuff off of the... So now, as it's sitting right now, the air from the compressor will come in here and it will go up through the bypass out to this hose, which hooks to the pipes all through the shop. So we'll have air directly from the compressor. And then when I want to use either a paint gun or the blasting cabinet and I need super clean dry air, we can come up here, cut this off, and cut this off on this side, and then turn these two bottom ones on, and then the air will run through the filter set up an air dryer. So we need to put this back on. So now all that's left to do, I'm going to put this back like this because I do not want air going through that filter. That will keep it from getting clogged up all the time because it's so humid here, but I'll have it available for when I really actually need it. And the way it's been for the last couple of years since I put this in is every time I needed full air, this thing would be clogged up. Every time it was forever clogged up. And so like if I was going to use my spray gun, I would have to take this all apart, clean it all out, put new pellets in it. I'd use my spray gun, and then by the time I went to use something else again, it'd already be clogged up again. So now, rather than having to deal with that, we can just run air straight into the system unless we need the filtered air, in which case we use that. The other thing too is all of my risers in here for the air system, like here, they all have drain valves. So if I'm going to go to the dry air, I can go through, run it, open all these valves, and get pretty much all the water you're going to get out of the system and have dry air again. So we'll we'll cut this on. Alright, I'm going to let this thing pump up, and once it gets up to pressure and cuts off, I'll bring it back and we'll check the leaks. Alright, the compressor's full up. No leaks detected. We can take, I can't hear any at least, take our old favorite leak detector. My favorite anyways. Windex will bubble up like crazy if you get it near a nail in a tire or a leak in a pipe. Yep, no leaks. Very good. So now we should be able to get full air pressure through the system, and then on the rare occasion when I need the filtered air, I can just swap the valves around and go through the filter. So I don't know if that'll help anybody, but if you live in the South and you've got that type of filter, which it's not a cheap filter. I mean, the thing was like $190, but short of getting an actual air dryer that's got electricity running to it that heats the air up and all that stuff, yeah, I don't, that's kind of an expensive one, short of going that direction. So hopefully y'all found that interesting, or it helped you out, I don't know. And appreciate y'all watching, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. And we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a good one.